With OTBase Inventory, you can restrict inventory data and allow users to see only what they need. Let's see how this is done. Okay, all the magic happens around user groups. So first we need to define a user group. To define a user group, go to Users and then Group. Okay, so inside of Groups, let's go ahead and add a new group. I'm going to call this one Contractors. You can check off the LDAP option if you want to migrate over your current Active Directory group of the same name, so that you won't have to manually add users to the OTBase copy of the same group. I'm going to leave this unchecked for me because I currently do not have Active Directory set up on this machine. So for global inventory access, we don't want to give them full access to our global inventory for these contractors. We want to give them partial inventory access. And since they're going to have partial inventory access, we can choose the permissions for this group. I'm going to set this one so that they're able to read and add files. All right, so now that's set. Let's go ahead and add a scope. So for this example, the scope is going to be set to location, and I'm going to choose the Flat Rock location because it has our sample data. For the contractors, we don't want them to be able to manage users or put OTBase into maintenance mode, so I'm going to leave everything else as is. So I'm just going to go ahead and press OK for the partial inventory access with our scope, and then I'm going to click Save. So we have our contractor group all set and ready. Let's go over to the users. So I am going to manually add users to this newly created contractors group because I don't have Active Directory set up here on this machine. And as I said before, normally if you have Active Directory already set up in your organization, you won't have to do this. Now, let's check out a contractor's experience in OTBase Inventory as compared to an admin's experience. All right, so right now I am in the device inventory of OTBase Inventory, and I have my newly created contractor group right here on the left, and then we have our standard admin on the right. Right now, they're both looking at the same device list, and judging by the amount of devices, you can see that it's equal. So the main difference here is that in the command bar, you don't see the add button, clone button for our contractors because we don't want them to touch anything. But in the admin, you have those options available. And also, our contractors, they cannot see anything outside of the scope of the Flat Rock facility. So if they were to come in here and jump around to other things, they won't be able to see anything. They can only see the location we set when we created the group, which is the Flat Rock. If they were to jump around to another site location, they won't see anything, whereas our admin user can see everything. So they have the ability to jump around. If we switch over to the OT systems, you can see that the admins have way more OT systems available. Bringing up the system profile, we can see that there is a lot less information in the contractor side as opposed to the admin side. The admin has pretty much the full scope, and they can see topology information, connectivity information, and more. The same thing goes for networks. Our contractors are only able to see what networks are available in that car manufacturing facility, whereas our admins can see pretty much all of the locations in North America, for example. And clicking over to locations, you can see that the contractors are limited to only Flat Rock location. And this is what they can see, whereas the admins can see the full scope. Another thing to note is that reports also go through the same access control flow. So if I were to share a report with a contractor that has limited access, they won't be able to see the full report, if not anything at all, because they don't have the same access rights. So if I click into a report like this one, This report gives us a plethora of data from charts, timelines, and devices. In it has 36 devices. Now, if I were to grab this report link and paste it into my contractor window, we'll see the same exact information. And that's because this contractor is working in the same location which this report is reflecting information from. Now, if I were to go and grab a different report, let's say this Rockwell ENBT, looking at it, we can see it has 74 devices along with some more charts at the top. So let's copy this link and bring it over to our contractor side. You'll see that the contractor only can see what pertains to his or her location, which is Flat Rock. We don't get the Houston information or the Charlotte information like we did inside of the admin side. And that just goes to show you that the access control locks down the system so that the right eyes get to see the information that they need to see. So that has been our high-level view into access control in OTBase Inventory. If you want to learn more about OTBase Inventory, please go ahead and read our documentation over at www.ot-base.com.